Come up with a great idea, create a compelling message, pitch it, and hopefully people will be convinced to buy what you are selling. What's the best way to inspire them? Maybe you intend to inspire people through your passion. Passion can be useful, but it has deliberately not been included within the definition of the entrepreneurial mindset, and that's not because there is no letter P in the mindset mnemonic. Lots of definitions of entrepreneurship do include passion. However, this can be problematic. It is true that ideally you need to feel highly motivated about what you're doing. It's good to have a vision about what you want to achieve. However, a lot of day-to-day work is stuff that has to be done, the routine things, the stuff perhaps you would rather not have to do. You may not feel passionate about these types of tasks, but nevertheless, they still need to be done on time, to budget, and to the right level of quality. Passion is good, but it would be unrealistic and disingenuous to pretend that we could spend all our time working in that way. So let's acknowledge that enthusiasm, not necessarily inner passion, is an important way to inspire other people. How else might we stimulate interest and build engagement? How do entrepreneurs go about it? What do leaders do to motivate and inspire people? How can we learn from them and develop our own behaviours? Who are the best leaders? Who's a possible role model? Who do you consider to be a good leader? Is it somebody well known from history, politics, or sport? What about somebody closer to home, a leader whose actions impacted on you? When you think of somebody who you judge to be a good leader, who comes to mind? Think about them. Picture them. Try to remember their leadership, what they did, how they made you feel. Focus on why you consider them to be a good leader. If you had to tell a friend or a colleague about them, what story would you tell? If you had to write down one thing that they did well and that you could copy, what would it be? Let's look at the other side of the coin. Who do you consider to be a bad leader? Is it somebody well known or somebody closer to home? Is there in fact quite a long list of people for you to choose from? Who's the one person who first comes to mind? Why do you remember this person? Why do you consider them to be a bad leader? How did they make you feel? What stories could you tell about them? If you had to write down one bad behaviour that you would want to avoid copying, what would it be? It doesn't take long when you think of examples you know of good and bad leaders to come up with a list of the do's and don'ts of being a leader. What behaviours typically make it onto these lists? The good points normally include they had a clear vision, they listened to my opinion, they were fair and treated people equally. All these behaviours are necessary to inspire confidence in people so that they're willing to believe what you have to say. What else did you have in your list? What behaviours have you identified that relate to communication, persuasion, and to selling? Do people you know live up to the good behaviours that you identified? Do you meet your own criteria? Let's go back to the lists of bad leadership behaviours. The bad points typically include they were unimaginative, they were unwilling to lead change, their decision-making was irrational, they failed to consult with people, they were prejudiced and bullying. These are all behaviours that are going to undermine working relationships, destroy confidence and put people off. People will be left thinking, I'm not buying what you're selling. The truth is, there are a lot of uninspiring leaders. Leadership in books is almost always spoken about as a positive. The negative aspects that people experience in real life are ignored. Is bad leadership therefore the norm rather than the exception? Do you exhibit any of the behaviours on your list of bad leaders? Our focus here is on how, like an entrepreneur, like a good leader, you can sell your ideas by creating a compelling message that inspires other people to get involved. You can learn from good and bad role models. You can behave like a leader even if you don't have a formal leadership position. It's useful to ask, how can you inspire people?